Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to continue our college football predictions with Week 14, aka Championship Weekend. Last week I went 25-7, which brings my total season record to 231 to 93. That's for the entire regular season. Now, normally when I do these predictions, I tend to only focus on the Power 5 schools and Notre Dame. But for this year, but for the championship weekend, I'm giving some other conferences the light of love. Because predicting 5 games won't be fun. I'm just going to stick to. So, why not do the other conferences? Like Conference USA, where New Mexico State taking on Liberty. And if you don't know, New Mexico State, 2 weeks ago, they took down a Power 5 school known as Auburn. And Liberty, I don't know much about what Liberty done this year, but all I'll say is they are 25th ranked in the country. So, with that being said, game is being played in Liberty. This conference do not go have a neutral site conference championship game. I am gonna roll with Liberty, and plus they're close to Virginia. They're like in Virginia. So I will support Liberty no matter what. And then we have the official final game of the Pac-12. The Oregon Ducks taking on the Washington State Huskies. Washington, they barely escaped their in-state rivals in Washington State. They had to use a game-winning field goal to keep their playoff hopes alive. As for Oregon, they easily took care of Oregon State. Now for this game, whoever wins, they got the playoff spot on lock. And I'm hoping for a very, 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 very good game because it's the final game of the Pac-12. Hope this game will end the conference out with a bang. Now, last time we saw these two teams, they played week 6 or 7. It was my game of the week, and I said Michael Penix was going to make his case for the Heisman in that game. He did. Washington won the game 36-33. But since then, Oregon's been on a tear. And because of that, I got to go on the other side of this rivalry and take the Oregon Ducks to win the Pac-12 and get a playoff spot. Next we have is the Miami, Ohio Red Hawks taking on the Toledo Rockets. This is the MAC Conference Championship played on Saturday. I know, because usually they like to play their games on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. That's how that conference operates. And I don't know if this conference is... I don't know if they use Ford Field as a neutral site anymore. I may be right, I might be wrong. I think they still do. Whatever the case is, I'm gonna just roll with Toledo to win the MAC conference. And yeah, let's move on. And that takes us to Oklahoma State Cowboys taking on the Texas Longhorns. And this is the Big 12 championship game being played in Jerry World. The Texas Longhorns, they destroyed Texas Tech handily, 56-7. And that game showed me that this team need to put up a lot of style points if they want to have any hopes of making the postseason. As for Oklahoma State, they barely escaped BYU to get in this position. At one point, the game was like 24-6 at halftime. Texas right now is favored by like 2 scores, so they're going to be a big favorite. I do think this game is going to be I do think Texas will not cover this game, but I am going to still pick them. It might still be a 2-score game, but for Texas, I will hook the horns in the Big 12. And we'll have to see what happens later on that day if they have any shot at the postseason. Following that, we have the American Athletic Conference, where the SMU Mustangs taking on the Tulane Green Wave. And if Tulane wins this game, they'll be all in likelihood booked for a New Year's Six bowl. Now for SMU, this will be their final game in the conference as they're moving to the ACC next year. And because Tulane is, I think that school is still on a mission, I'm going to roll with the Green Wave to win. Next we have is the Sun Belt, where the Appalachian State Mountaineers will be taking on the Trojans. Now I don't really know that much about either school, although I will recognize Appalachian State, Boone, North Carolina, where they beat James Madison a couple weeks ago. And because of that, and I know Troy's favored by almost a full touchdown, I'm gonna roll Appalachian State because I'm biased towards North Carolina schools, and yeah, I'm just roll of App State will get it done. And then we have the ACC championship game where the Louisville Cardinals will be taking on the Florida State Seminoles. Louisville, they laid an egg against their rival Kentucky, giving up 38 points in the process. Plummer, he had quite a few crucial game-changing turnovers that put Louisville into a hold. I mean, they did try to rally, but at the end, Kentucky just got over the hump. Meanwhile, Florida State, they also got in a rally with Florida, where you basically used the ground game to get the win, and some Florida undisciplined plays to get also helped. So for this game, this is important for Florida State to win because if they win, they're gonna unbeaten. They should get into postseason. I don't care that Jordan Travis is not on the team. I think an unbeaten Florida State team, they should get in no matter what, and that's what Florida State's going for. And looking at the spread, they're only favored by like 3 points as of today. But because of that, I'm still going to take Florida State, and I think it's going to be way over. It's going to be way over than the point spread that they're giving them. I'm going to roll Florida State to win. And then we have Michigan taking on the Iowa Hawkeyes. This will be the Big Ten championship game played in Indianapolis. Michigan, for the third year in a row, won the game. And for a third year in a row, I picked Ohio State, and they just couldn't get it done. Yippee. But luckily for Michigan, they are getting Jim Harbaugh back. As for Iowa, they won in typical Iowa fashion. No offense, do it all with the defense. And man, that defense is legit. I just hope. Now, Michigan is favored by like 23 points. I think with that Iowa defense, they're going to give them. I think Iowa's going to give them hell in the first half. But because Iowa has next to no offense, I have pretty much no choice but to roll with Michigan. And if they somehow, but here's the question: if they somehow lose to Iowa, either way Michigan in or not. That's going to be something to keep my mind on. Even though me and pretty much everyone else on earth know that Michigan shouldn't have a problem here. And then real quickly we have the Boise State Broncos taking on the UNLV, University of Las Vegas, and this is the Mountain West Conference championship game. And how they did theirs was very different because they used a computer-based system to help get the two best teams in their conference to play in the conference championship game, kind of like a BCS ranking. But so yeah, explain however you want it to. I think for this game, I am going to roll with Boise State to win. They are favored by like 3 points. So I'm just going to roll with the Broncos. And then, this is easily my game of the week. Because of all the conference championship games we've seen up to this point, The stakes are no higher than this one. We have the #1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now let's talk about Georgia first, because while they did beat Georgia Tech, they made it a lot harder than it looked. And this is one of their closer games they had all year. So okay, Georgia's done. What about Alabama? They were a 4th and 31 away from this game not even mattering. It's been a few days. I'm still stunned that that play happened. Like, how? We had a chance to put away big bad Bama, but some reason they managed to hold on. Now, I did say that this game is the most important game of the day, because if Georgia wins, the playoffs will be kind of decided by that time. Who knows? But if Alabama wins, chaos ensues. Because there'll be questions like, okay, how are we going to put Bama in? But do you think Bama should get in over a one-loss Texas team that Texas already beat them week 2? Or do Georgia... What about the other? How are we going to fit Bama in the playoffs? Because if Georgia loses, are they in either way? Are they going to get the 2-year bias? Yes, there's a lot going on in this game. So, as for a winner, I've gone back and forth with this one. I honestly have. Part of me want to take Georgia, and a part of me want to take Alabama. I really, really, really don't know. And normally, when a team gets a fluke win, like Alabama, I'm going to put it like this. If a team gets a fluke win or a miracle win, they often lose the next week. So, but then again, 2 years ago, Bama had almost the same thing happen when Tank Bigsby ran out of bounds and gave Bama extra time. So Bama that next week ended up beating Georgia, so that theory didn't even matter. This is a hard game to pick. I mean, again, I went back and forth and back. And you know what? Because I want chaos and nothing about Alabama makes sense, I'm going to roll with the Crimson Tide to win. And I know Georgia's favored by almost a touchdown. I will not be surprised if Georgia wins. Let the chaos begin. That's all I'm going to be rooting for. So, tell me what y'all think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.